Welcome to Alphacenturian. This is going to be a slightly different video. Forgive the camera. This is a very good brand new camera. I've been using it for my last few videos, but right now there's a lot of artifacting. I'm not really sure what's going on there. The reason why I'm making this video is because I am going to be responding to I'm going to be responding to Found Cause. They are I believe they're Calvinistic, or at least Reformed, Protestant apologetics channel. Their channel size is about mine, so if you would like to go support them, they would greatly appreciate it. Also, anyone from their audience who's watching my stuff, please feel free to support me. I would greatly appreciate a subscribe or a follow or whatever it is we do now on this stupid thing. Why am I making this video? So I had a few interactions with them, and one of the things that made me worry about the level of or quality of the apologists I was dealing with is that they did not know what the Christian Standard Bible was. Just to be clear, that's not my favorite translation, but I thought I would go over a few bits and pieces, both for their audience and for my clarification and interacting with them. I'm a big advocate of the Church Fathers, to put it mildly. As you can see, I do philosophy. I read a lot of things, not just safe Christian things. Somewhere right there, there we go, you'll see vampire books. So yeah, I read a lot of stuff. But I want to first talk about the Church Fathers, how I was introduced to them, and where I am now with them. There's a big movement in the Protestant roots movement, let's call it that, kind of like the Jewish roots movement from a few years ago. There's a big movement in the Protestant roots, or historical Protestantism, that's going on right now, because YouTube used to be dominated by Protestantism. And then Catholics came in, and we came in at all levels, as low as my level and as high as Thomistic Institute. But now Protestants like Jordan B. Cooper and Gavin Ortland have come in with their much more robust arguments for historic Protestantism, and have begun to push back against the current Catholic-focused version of Christian YouTube. And the level of Protestant I used to interact with was much lower than the level of atheists I used to interact with. And so I didn't have to step up my game. So when I finally did step up my game, it was thanks to something like this, the Liturgy of the Hours. And specifically, what's called the Office Readings. And it's where I first ran into the Church Fathers. I don't know if you can see that there. But you have a second reading, and it's by St. Augustine. And basically they're commentaries on whatever the reading of the day was, although they're not always directly linked, but they're always on the same topic. And this is where I first really got into the Church Fathers. So you'd have a first reading by Paul, and you'd have a second reading by St. Gregory the Great. And it would just cover a lot of material. So I read this for, I guess, 3 years, and I was like, that's awesome. What else is there? And I ended up reading the Apostolic Fathers. My preferred translation is the one by Bart Ehrman. And they have this, and not just in the USCCB approved version, but they also have it in the International Liturgy Association, ILC. And then I'll show you that right here. So here we go. Here's some John Chrysostom right there for you. And this are Divine Office, Liturgy of the Hours. Once I got into Bart Ehrman, I then started getting into collections. So I had been reading this one right here. This is from a Catholic university, so it is biased. Don't think it's not. And basically what it is that it's a translation. And so you have a little bit of Bible verse followed by the commentary on it. This is St. Hilary of Potters. So, as you can see, one Bible verse and then commentary from this one particular, let's call him Church Father, but I guess in the Catholic Church we'd call them saints. There's 180 some volumes of this. Haven't read them all. I've read a lot. This particular one's 125. This is on Matthew. I'm currently reading Jerome, his commentary on Matthew. And because not all the translations are available by every publisher, and some translations have never been put into English. They're available in French or in German. You have to look around. I do not know the validity of this particular publisher, but they have a really beautiful set on St. Aquinas' translations on his stuff. So it has Latin and English. So it has the Bible verse up on top, followed by the commentary. I don't know if you can see that. These are beautiful books, by the way. If they're not a legit publisher, they have me fooled. This is the Aquinas Institute. But let's say you don't want to go to a Catholic source. Well, you also have these from Protestant publishers. For instance, IVP has these right here. So any commentary I can't find, I'll go to something like this. Now these are a little bit different. They do have some that are just like that, where it's just one author and one work. This one is multiple authors doing commentary on a single verse. So yes, it gets quite long. Just to give you a quick example, you'll have Bible verse up here, you'll have the commentary, you'll then have the individual line, followed by what each different ancient author thought it meant. This particular one is Mark. This one over here is Romans. Romans is a little thicker. And if you're really desperate and you want to get a translation that's completely out of print, there's Eternia Press. And this particular one is Chrysostom's commentary on Matthew. But let's say you don't want to spend thousands of dollars on this endeavor. There's actually a very affordable solution. So this is the Word on Fire Bible. This is a Catholic Bible from Bishop Barron in his Word on Fire press. This is not the whole Bible. This is just going to be the Gospels. He has one on the epistles. He's going to be doing the Old Testament soon. So it'll have different commentators. Again, usually church fathers. These particular ones are doctors of the faith. But let me see if I can find one with the church father commentary. So you have Jerome's commentary on the top, followed by a more modern scholar. Modern, you know. But yeah, no, this is really good. I really like, if you're a Catholic and you want to get into what I'm doing, this is great. A slightly more affordable version of the exact same thing is the Orthodox Study Bible. They have a church father's opinion as their footnotes, which is pretty cool. And it's not as extensive as this other stuff. But let's say you're a Protestant and you don't want to trust an Orthodox or a Catholic opinion, and you don't want to spend the money to buy the collections, and you don't necessarily trust the publishers, and you don't want to go to an independent press like I was willing to do. What can you do? So there's this. This is very Protestant, and it has the church fathers. And this is kind of like this one. Again, this is a Protestant thing, but it has, or an academic thing, you want to call it that, but it has many, many different church fathers talking about a single line. Now, it's not their entire work, because their works go into tangents. Like John Christensen loves to talk against gambling and horse racing when he's supposed to be talking about the creation of man in Genesis. So it takes out all the tangents and just has the lines, which are trusting the correlator, the person doing the collating, to choose the correct verse and to be honest in his choices or in her choices. So if it's a Protestant collection like this, there's going to be some bias. So you can actually get these with just the single author. But again, that just starts adding up in price. So what's the solution? I give you, here we go, check it out. So as you can see there, all the different commentators. You have the Bible text up on top. Job is beautiful. Look at that. Look at that, man. Woo! Let's go to the New Testament just to kind of give you an idea. Now, yes, it does make the Bible a little bit bigger. This is only like $50 though, I think, or $40. This is not expensive at all. Matthew. Look at that right there. You got the text up on top, and you have the church fathers on the bottom giving their opinion. Jerome, Hilary of Potters, Christian Psalm. Now, remind you, I paid about $50 each for each commentary. Or you could just buy this whole thing, which is $50, and it has all of them already in it. So, yeah. So if you want to save some money, save some time, learn what the church fathers thought about a particular passage, this is great. From a Protestant publisher, so you don't have to worry about Catholic bias, even though the church fathers are all Catholic, so you can't get around that. But at least you're not getting a editor or someone who's picking the commentary that has a Catholic bias. They have a Protestant bias, and still a lot of Catholic ideas will come through. So this is what I was recommending. Found the Cause was this particular Bible for you, because then we'll be arguing about the same thing. I agree with the church fathers on almost everything. I used to be a very liberal Catholic, and before that I was imbibing, if you will, into humanism. I was a Taoist and a Socratic and a Stoic. I was a Stoic for a very long time, and I was a Taoist for a very long time. And I love Stoicism. The reason why I didn't become a humanist is because I couldn't become a secular humanist. I know God's real. I couldn't go that route. But believe me, I have very strong humanist leanings, and I would be a very strong humanist liberal if it wasn't for the Bible and God and the church fathers. My faith in God steered me away from humanism. But aside from it steering it away from me from humanism, the church fathers also brought me into orthodoxy, both low O and capital O. I'm very close to orthodoxy if they would simply have a pope, if they have a pope, if they simply acknowledge the pope as the pope. I would definitely become Orthodox. So I'm probably going to become an Eastern Catholic if there was an Eastern Catholic church around here. There's not. There's no Eastern rites down where I'm at. So it's Latin Mass for me. But Latin meaning the Novus Ordo, not Latin meaning in Latin, because I'm not with the rat rats. I'm Catholic, capital C Catholic, and a Protestant Bible like this just helps reaffirm my faith. To my audience, if you have any particular Bible verse that you would like me and me and Found the Cause, I keep on trying to slip in a jab. If me and Found Cause you'd like to see us debate, I was personally thinking the Bread of Life discourse, but maybe on Justification and Sanctification. I would really like to do the counter verses, actually, which would be faith without works is dead. Have it go up against whatever verse they think proves, I believe in grace. But simply because they think that I don't, I would love to put up faith without works is dead and have them pick a verse that proves faith alone and have those two verses go head to head. So if you'd be interested in that debate, I've already spoken to a friend of mine who I go on to debates on his channel against atheists. He is a strong atheist. He's a good friend. He's rising in the atheist popularity, Gar Mania, and on his channel, Gur Streams. Yes, Gur Streams, Gar Mania. I love you all. I hope this debate happens. And neutral ground. Let's use the CSB Bible as the Bible we use for the debate, and we'll debate off of something like this. Because I can use the NAB, you can use the ESV, although the ESV is now a Catholic Bible. Like how we did that? Take that, Calvinist. But ESV would also be fine. The ESV would be great, or the CSB if we want neutral ground. And let's have a debate. Faith without works is dead versus your best verse to prove faith alone. Gauntlet has been dropped. Let's debate. Peace.